Hey everyone, Luke here. In today's video, we're going to talk about eBay scams. Let's go. Hey everyone, so eBay scams. I'm pretty sure every one of us has been scammed at least one time on eBay. In today's video, I want to talk about what kind of scams there are on eBay, some of the most common ones, and how to deal with them and the mindset you need to have going out of them. So first off, obviously if you've ever sold on eBay or online in general, you've probably either been scammed or witnessed a scam and gotten away from it before it could actually happen to you. One of the most common scams on eBay is for a low seller or a low seller rated eBay profile to purchase an item from you, typically a high value item, and then what they try and do is as soon as they get the item, they say that something's wrong with it and they ask you for a partial refund in order to extort money out of you and to basically try and get the item for an even better deal than you already had it listed. This happens all the time with basically newer profiles that have little to no or lower feedback. Lower feedback I would consider anything under around 30 to under 50 feedback. Those are people that are relatively new to eBay and they could very well easily be either fake accounts or accounts that people build up to purposely scam or accounts that people bought. Now, one of the best ways to combat this is to ask the buyer to send very detailed pictures. One of the best ways to actually trip scammers up, in my opinion, over the years that I've learned, is to message them with kind of a perspective like nothing's wrong. See, what the scammer tries to do is they try and send you a message hoping that you immediately say, "I'm sorry, how can I fix this?" And oftentimes what this is basically them almost getting you to admit guilt even if there is nothing wrong with your item. So sometimes you need to kind of basically passively answer. Don't send any kind of aggressive messages or apologize right away, but kind of passively answer and almost word everything you say like a question and try and skip the scammer up. The next time this happens to me, or when the next time it happens to me, because I'm sure it will happen throughout the rest of my career on eBay, I'm hoping to get an actual video so I can show you guys messages and me actually debunking a scammer completely live and showing how I did it. I wish I still had the messages from one of these last ones that I had, but it's definitely kind of a sight to see. It's kind of interesting just to see it all unwrap. And sometimes when the scammer is threatening to, do a partial refund or ask for a partial refund or leave you bad feedback, you can actually get the case reversed instantly if a scammer threatens you and says, "I'm going to leave bad feedback if you don't give me a partial refund." So there's a lot of ways to actually get out of it and actually win the case. It's just a matter of fact is how you word it. That's the biggest thing when it comes to eBay scams. Another big scam, and this one we're going to kind of go into the mindset stuff after I talk about this scam, but this one is the one where you lose, and it's when you sell an item and the buyer issues a return. They don't send any kind of messages, so there's no way to really ask them any questions or anything, but they just want to return the item, and eBay automatically approves it. If you're a top rated or top rated plus seller and you have automatic returns on or 30-day automatic returns, if they just return the item because they don't want it, eBay will automatically approve it, unfortunately, and then they ship the item back. Well, sometimes you get a box back and it's full of rocks. This actually happened to me quite some time ago. I sold an iPhone 8 Plus and a guy sent it back with a box, and the box was a little bit larger than what I had sent it in, and it kind of seemed like you could hear something in there, and I opened it up and there was a couple padded envelopes wrapped together and there was river rocks in it. So I'll actually put this video down below so you guys can go check it out. It was one of the first YouTube videos that I actually ever did. Cool thing about that is I did end up winning that case, and I did end up getting around $450 back or so, and yeah, he got to keep the iPhone and I got to keep the rock. So all was good because I got my money back. But this is one of the harder scams to actually beat, and you really need to have your pictures down and your proof down when they actually do a swap, because even if you had the item marked, it's really hard to beat that once you don't get any kind of item back. The nice thing about this is a lot of the times people who do this scam don't have much feedback. It's newer profiles once again, and so it's kind of your word versus them. And if you've been a loyal eBayer for quite some time, it's pretty easy to win these cases. However, if you do lose a return, talking about mindset stuff now, if you do lose a return and you get scammed on eBay, whether you're a seller or a buyer, this is the mindset that you need to have, and you need to have this mindset in any kind of business. Sometimes there are things that we cannot change, and you cannot focus on the things that you cannot change. Only focus on what you can. So if you've lost a case, everything's gone south, get up and move on. Trying to get even or trying to get vengeance against a scammer is only going to bring you down, bring your mindset down, and just kind of your emotional state. And it's going to cost you money because you're not going to be focusing on your business. You're focusing on how to get even or how to get revenge on somebody who scammed you out of a couple $100s. I'm telling you right now, early on in my eBay career, it happened to me a few times, and it's not worth it. It's 100% not worth it at all. You just have to get up, move on, record that transaction, print off the slip showing that you lost the money, and use it as a loss for a tax deduction, and just pick up your business and move on. One of the first times that I got scammed on eBay, and I don't really get scammed very often. I haven't in quite some time. Like, I don't really remember the last time I got scammed besides this one time because it was a pretty bad scam, and I'll tell you about it. So I shipped out an Galaxy S7 Edge, and this was a brand new phone, nothing wrong with it. And at that time, I think it was like $620. It was really expensive, right? And shipped out the phone, everything was fine, and on I think it was the 29th day, the buyer sends me a message and says, oh, there's something wrong with the LCD. And I was really confused. I didn't really believe it, didn't really make any sense to me, and, it was all just very odd to me. And at this time, I had a good mindset about business, but I also really didn't like being scammed. Like, I would rather get the money back rather than just move on. At least I thought that was the best thing. So, long story short, me and the seller argued quite a bit, etc., 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 and they ended up getting the return, and they sent me back, I'll never forget this because I was expecting a Galaxy S7 Edge, they sent me back a broken Nintendo DS and a used hard drive for a computer. I was so mad when I opened the box. I can't even describe it, but I remember exactly how I felt in opening this little box. I remember the box. They shipped it in this Net Mobile or some kind of off-brand phone box, and then inside it was a broken Nintendo DS and a used, probably broken hard drive from a computer. And I remember messaging the person and sending them all these pictures, and I spent a lot of time pursuing the person and also pursuing eBay. I went on to ic3.gov, submitted a complaint and everything. Guess what? Nothing ever happened. What really upset me is I didn't have the mindset at that time to move on instantly, and what happened is I ended up kind of digging more. I got the person's first, last name. I found them on Facebook. What really upset me at the time, because, I was successful at the time, but not near to the point where I am now. I was still kind of starting up, I guess, in a sense. I was kind of still starting up then, I would say. I mean, I'd been flipping for a while, but, just wasn't doing it at the volume that I am now. And I looked this guy up, and he's got this big, extravagant life. He actually owns a couple different phone shops down in Florida, so I was really upset to see that I got scammed by not only a fellow phone flipper, but a business owner that's, supposed to have a good name. And I was just kind of shocked. And then I saw him on Facebook and saw that he's got this big, lavish lifestyle, and him and his girlfriend have got all this name brand Gucci and Coach stuff in their profile pictures, and I was just like, wow. So I kind of got personal with the guy. I got his phone number. I told him, you need to give me my money back. And I spent so much time pursuing this person. And all in all, I would say I probably spent probably over 24 to 48 hours in total time, so probably 3-4 days on this, just digging into it. And obviously the stuff that I had listed online sold, but I didn't really pick anything up new. I was so focused on getting that, I think I was out $460 or something. I think I paid $400 for the phone, and I sold it for $629. But I was out this $400, and I was so dead set on getting it, but this entire time that I was upset about that and so obsessed with basically getting vengeance or getting even with the guy that scammed me, I missed out on so many deals, and my mindset and just my emotional state was suffering that entire time. So looking back on it, had it have been now, I would have just dropped it. I would have definitely tried to fight it on eBay, but had I have lost the eBay case, that would have been that. I would have never pursued it any further. It would have been completely done with it, because I know that after that point, I'm kind of just wasting my time, because a lot of that other stuff, pursuing it, submitting reports, etc., trying to pursue somebody, it's just a big waste of time, especially over something, that is, a few $100s, even $1,000. It's such a waste of time and energy and efforts to try and get something. That's just kind of how it is online. And so it was very irritating to me back then. I mean, this was like, 3-4 years ago. But looking at it now, if that would have happened, probably wouldn't have cared so much, would have just kind of let it go. But that's the mindset that you need to have if you do get scammed. If it's $50 to $100, it's just the cost of business. Keep that. Make sure you record it as a loss, that you sold the item and then the cost of the item and you lost the money and you got scammed. Just keep that. That's really all you need. It's a tax deduction, but don't focus your efforts and get basically caught up in the fact that you got to get even. Because I'm telling you this right now, when it comes to business, having that get even or vengeful mindset is never going to get you anywhere, and it's just not a good thing. Even in a personal life, it's not a good thing to have that get even or vengeful mindset, or you'll never get the last laugh out of me mindset. That's the worst mindset that you can have. And although, it happens a lot to people because that's just, how people were raised, not a lot of people read books, not a lot of people do self-knowledge, that is one of the worst things that you can do. So that being said, I just kind of wanted to talk about eBay scams, just some of the stuff that can happen and kind of the mindset that you need to have when and if it happens to you. And that's basically, my kind of take on it and just kind of my own personal experience. So if you guys like this video, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, drop a comment below, and I will see you all in the next video.